In this guide, why agent identities need owners, purpose, and expiry, how provisioning differs from classic app registration, where revocation must reach, credentials, sessions, and delegated grants, what good governance looks like for the agentic workforce. Identity expert, powering you to be an expert in identity. The hardest part of agent security is not authenticating the agent once. It is proving who owns it, who approved it, what it can still reach, and how fast you can revoke it when the task or owner changes. Agent Identity Lifecycle is the emerging governance layer for the agentic workforce. A secure agent is not just an authenticated client. It is a managed identity with an owner, a purpose, a runtime boundary, short-lived credentials, reviewable entitlements, and a fast revocation path. This episode explains why app registration is not enough, how provisioning and recertification should work for agents, where revocation has to fan out across sessions and delegated grants, and why responders need to know both the acting principal and the sponsoring owner when an incident lands. People join with a manager, role, and approved systems. They change teams, gain and lose access, and eventually leave. Identity governance exists to keep that lifecycle tight. An agent should arrive with an owner, purpose, policy envelope, credentials, and logging hooks. When its task, owner, or runtime changes, its authority must change too. When it is retired, every credential and delegated grant must die with it. If an agent has no owner, no expiry, and no revocation path, it is not governed identity. It is a long-lived secret wearing a nicer label. Registration alone is not lifecycle. App registration creates a client object. Lifecycle management adds owner, business purpose, provisioning workflow, rotation, review cadence, and retirement. Agents mutate faster than humans. An agent can gain tools, new prompts, new runtimes, and new delegated grants in hours. Governance has to track those changes without waiting for ticket queues. Revocation is multi-layered. Disabling one credential is not enough. Active sessions, downstream tokens, cache secrets, workload credentials, and delegated chains may all survive. Audit needs principal and sponsor. Responders need to know both which agent acted and which human, team, or workload sponsored that authority at the time of the action. Lifecycle is the control plane that keeps agent identity from turning into unmanaged non-human sprawl. Step 1. Provision with an owner. Create the agent as a directory-managed identity with a sponsor, purpose, policy baseline, and named runtime boundary before it receives any tool or resource access. Step 2. Bind runtime and credentials. Issue short-lived credentials tied to the approved runtime or workload identity so the agent cannot be copied to another host without losing proof of possession. Step 3. Continuously review entitlements. Reevaluate tool access, audiences, data scopes, and subdelegation policy whenever the task envelope, owner, or environment changes. Step 4. Revoke across layers. On suspension or deletion, disable credentials, revoke active sessions and delegated grants, delete stale secrets, and propagate a real-time event to relying parties. Lifecycle is not one API. It is the combination of creation, ownership metadata, and revocation signals that collapse the stale access window. Threat 1. Orphaned agents. The original owner leaves or the project ends, but the agent keeps valid credentials and standing access to production systems. Mitigation, mandatory sponsorship, and periodic recertification require every agent to map to a live owner or owning team and auto-suspend identities that miss recertification. Threat 2. Zombie delegated grants. The primary credential is disabled, but exchanged tokens, sessions, or downstream grants remain active for minutes or days. Mitigation, revocation fanout. Push revocation events to relying parties, revoke refresh tokens, and expire exchanged credentials on short lifetimes so stale power cannot linger. Threat 3. Runtime drift. An agent identity approved for one environment is copied into another runtime or notebook where the original controls no longer apply. Mitigation, runtime-bound credentials. Use workload identity or sender-constrained tokens so moving the identity to another host breaks proof of possession. Directory-native agents. Major identity platforms are moving toward first-class agent objects with ownership, lifecycle, and governance rather than generic app registrations. Real-time recertification. Expect entitlement reviews to become event-driven so changes in owner, code base, or deployment automatically trigger a new policy decision. Shared audit language. Lifecycle, delegation, and workload identity data will need a common schema so incident responders can reconstruct what the agent was allowed to do at any point in time. The near-term market shift is from agent can authenticate to agent can be governed. Lifecycle is the difference. All of the primary sources for this guide are on screen now. The video description below includes direct links so you can verify the current spec language and the underlying standards yourself. Thanks for watching. If there is another identity standard, security pattern, or agent architecture topic you want covered next, leave it in the comments and subscribe to Identity Expert.